I ain't never done a video about TrueCraft sockets, so here we go. TrueCraft, Japanese made sockets. They were kind of, essentially they were budget tools sold at, auto parts stores, a variety of places. They all say TrueCraft. Pretty common, like through, I don't know if they're probably around during the 80s, but certainly through the 90s and I believe the early 2000s. TrueCraft is actually still around, but they just stopped selling in the United States. I guess the market was too competitive. There's some people who have real fond memories of TrueCraft sockets, but in reality, they were kind of crappy. They were Japanese, and they certainly were much better than Chinese sockets, but they were junky, cheap tools. They were not an alternative to any of the professional brands and a lot of the Taiwanese stuff. A lot of the reason the Taiwanese stuff took over is because, quite frankly, it was good quality for the price. TrueCraft, even though they were made in Japan and had decent steel, were nonetheless cheap sockets. I mean, it's a great example. We can just see here the inconsistency, like nice chrome plating there. And this isn't like a random one. This is still a TrueCraft. They're all the same, but it almost looks like some of these sockets came from a different set. That's just how they were. If we look at the drive end, you can see that they didn't even do any undercutting. No undercut for the ball detent retention, so they tend to slide off of ratchets and stuff easier. You can also see here no fluting either on the drive or the driven end. They just weren't super great. This is a neat little metric set from 7 through 19 millimeter and a little metal case, so that's kind of cool. And I'll keep these as a junker set, or I'll end up finding somebody who could use a metric 3/8 socket set and give them away to somebody. But I just want to do a little video. They're not super great. If you find them at a garage sale or something like that, sets, to tell you the truth, I'd probably pass them up unless they're like this set. I paid $4 for this set of sockets, and I think that's, about what they're worth. They're probably worth a little more than that, but they're just not something very exciting. They just don't have very good consistency, as you can see. Some are really deeply chamfered, some are hardly chamfered at all, etc. But I will pay credit where credit is due. And one thing I was noticing about these is I have some pretty high quality JH fasteners here. These are really well sized fasteners. And if I take the 10 millimeter, we can see very little play. Even though these aren't fluted, not very big flutes on that 10. Actually surprisingly good sizing. Say on this 13 millimeter, same deal. Really surprisingly tight. And on this 19 millimeter. And so I will give them that, is that they do have 19 millimeters a little bit more play, but still, nonetheless, actually surprised by the fitment of these TrueCraft sockets. So anyway, just wanted to make a little video since I've never made a video about, TrueCraft sockets, and figured it was about time once, some kind of a decent set or pieces showed up, so you could get a better look at them. But they've never been something that suited my fancy. I've certainly seen lots of individual TrueCraft tools over the years, and they just weren't, super great. They were just, essentially kind of Harbor Freight, Pittsburgh grade tools. Maybe a little bit better than that. And I kind of understand it would hurt their sales, compared to such beautiful looking sets of sockets coming out of Taiwan. They just said heck with the North American market, and they pulled out. And that's what's kind of funny, is you think it's an old tool company, and it is, and they went out of business. They didn't go out of business. They just exited this market. Anyway, all I got to say about that. Really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.